And we welcome everybody. Brad Nessler along with Jay Billis. Shannon's going to join us in a second. Now, earlier in the season, I had a football game here on a Saturday. I came in here to watch Ben Simmons play on a Friday night. If you haven't seen him yet, one of the most highly talented freshmen we've heard about in a long time.
You know, he's truly special, Brad, and I'm not sure special really covers it because he's an absolute prodigy. Ben Simmons is left-handed. He's 6'10" and 240 pounds, but he plays like a point guard. And you can't really tell that he's left-handed until he shoots a free throw. He grabs a rebound, and he grabs 13 of them per game. He can take it the other way on his own as if he were the point guard. He can get all the way to the basket. If you make a cut, he will find you. He is an extraordinary passer, averages 5.5 assists a game to go with those 13 rebounds, 20 points, 2 steals. The numbers he puts up are absolutely ridiculous. And he's going to see, he's seen every kind of defense and will see it, and he'll see more from Kentucky.
All right, well, speaking about Kentucky, this time a year ago, they were about a third of the way to 38-1. So they've already lost more games than they did all the last season. How do you assess their season so far?
Very talented, but a totally different team. They're very guard-oriented. It's a team that's got to drive the ball, get to the free throw line, but a very good offensive rebounding team. In fact, I think the glass is going to be the determining factor in the game. Can LSU hang with Kentucky on the backboard?
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Wildcats and the Tigers. And for Kentucky and John Calipari, Ulis, Murray, Briscoe in the backcourt, Poythress and Lee up front. For Johnny Jones and LSU, Quarterman, Blakeney, and Hornsby in the backcourt. Victor and the aforementioned Ben Simmons up front. These two played last February, and it was a thriller. We were here for that on a Tuesday night. Went down to the last shot, missed by Hornsby, 71-69. Kentucky's pretty much owned this series in recent years, which is tonight in its 112th meeting between the two teams. Joe DeRosa, Pat Adams, and Doug Shows has the ball in hand. Sellout crowd, even though the student body's not back from the holiday vacation. It's a packed house at the Maravich Center, and here we go. And it'll be Kentucky bringing it in with Tyler Ulis, who's had a sensational season so far into the front court.
LSU starting off in man-to-man. Tim Quarterman on Tyler Ulis, who has been spectacular over his last 2 games.
Ulis for 3. Off the back of the iron, scrambled for the rebound, and is pulled in by Jamal Murray. Ulis a second try and close, and he draws a foul. John Calipari went over the 200 win mark faster than anybody in Kentucky history, one of the fastest ever. That was the Louisville win, 2:01-40 right now in his 7th season as a head coach in Lexington. And Johnny Jones, who was a star player here under Dale Brown on the other side, his 4th year, looking for win number 70 on his career here. Johnny, most wins by an LSU coach in the first 4 seasons. They went 22-11 last year, 11-7 in conference play, while Kentucky, of course, ran the table in the SEC and lost only in the Final Four to Wisconsin.
Kentucky putting on some full court pressure, and you could see Simmons bringing it up. He's got the ability to handle the ball as a point guard, being guarded early by Isaiah Briscoe, who stayed on him after the pressure. There's the guy. Keith Hornsby is the guy that I think is the key player in this game outside of Simmons.
Waterman, nice cut to the basket and got the spin.
Quarterman plays the point, and he's a guy, if he grabs a rebound, he brings it up. If Simmons grabs a rebound, he brings it up, and Quarterman's still adjusting to that.
Murray for 3. Hornsby in transition. LSU tops in the conference and trying to run, but that one stripped away. Nice job defensively by Poythress. And on the other end, Simmons does the same.
Simmons, in some scouting reports, has been called an uninterested defender. I don't think that's particularly true. Now you can see Isaiah Briscoe, after knocking that ball away, Simmons knocks it right away from him. Like Simmons, if he doesn't want you to get past him, you are not getting past him. I've seen him guard point guards. He did a great job this last summer at that Nike Basketball Academy, and he guarded everybody there. When he wants to, he's an extraordinary defender.
Didn't help inside that time, but the foul is going to be on Craig Victor.
This Kentucky team, Alex Poythress didn't finish that shot, but this is a very good offensive rebounding team. Maybe not as proficient offensive rebounding as last year, but they get about 42% of their misses. That's 5th in the country. And that's where LSU is going to have to play maybe its best game, is on the backboards.
11-2 start. They lost to UCLA and Ohio State. Again, not as many players out there. Last year they had the 2 platoon system. John doesn't go that deep right now, at least. Here's a rebound on the miss, and Simmons on the run. Watch him dribble. And he lost it out of bounds.
Pretty impressive by Marcus Lee, who ran the floor step for step with Simmons. Simmons had to step on him, and usually he's going to get all the way to the basket and either get fouled or score. Nice move.
Ulis, a quick dribble, penetrates and kicks out. Nice ball movement by Kentucky, but good defense by LSU.
Well, Hornsby played Briscoe so well because he knows he's not going to shoot it.
Lee, Simmons pulls down his missed shot.
Simmons kept his hands straight up, and Lee went right into his body. That's why it wasn't a foul. Good defense by Simmons. You can see Kentucky trying to switch just about everything on Simmons.
Blakeney off the mark on the 3. Scramble for the rebound, won by Marcus Lee.
If you make a cut when Ben Simmons has got the ball in his hands, he's going to find it. He's that kind of passer.
And the foul is going to be on Marcus Lee.
You can see this little drag screen in transition. And he just didn't get set, kind of put his hip into Antonio Blakeney. Real challenge for Tim Quarterman to bring the ball up against Tyler Ulis, having to turn his back.
2.5 minutes in, and we've only got 2 points on each side.
The feeling out process.
Baseline turn is good by Victor.
Victor went right at Skal Labissiere and went right into his body. And Victor is an important player. Now that Keith Hornsby and Craig Victor are back in the lineup, this is the team that LSU has wanted to have all along. And it was awfully successful the other night at LSU. That is not Poitras' shot.
No, it isn't. Quarterman clears it off. Blakeney now on the dribble, reverse, and lays it in. Nice run out by Blakeney.
Well, it is amazing, Brad, how often a bad shot leads to a layup on the other end. A bad shot is the first pass in your opponent's fast break, and that was a bad shot by Poitras.
LSU 6, Tyler Ulis 4.
Ulis has been spectacular, especially his last 2. Now he's getting healthy again after that arm injury. He played a number of games where he couldn't straighten out that arm.
Hornsby got hit as he shot. No foul. Quarterman trying to keep it alive on the baseline. Hornsby is still saying to the officials, how about a foul? I got hit on the 3-point shot.
Well, Hornsby's an important player in this game. He's the type of player that has to have 20 for them to win.
Nice feed inside, and Blakeney again. Back-to-back baskets.
And that drives John Calipari crazy. You know, last year in this game against LSU, Kentucky felt like they got battered and bruised on out-of-bounds underneath plays. They gave up a lot of buckets, a lot of layups. And to start this game on the road, they give up a layup on out-of-bounds under. You know, the first thing and only thing is protecting the basket, making the opposing team throw it out on the perimeter.
Outside jumper won't go for Victor. Briscoe working against Hornsby. Got around him, and a nice move.
Stepped out.
He stepped on the baseline. Kentucky turns it over. And right now, the LSU fans loving what they're seeing early. Tigers lead by 4.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Hotels.com, the obvious choice for hotels, and in part by Lexus.
Ben Simmons, and Coach Calipari said certainly a move in the right direction as far as getting aggressive with his guys. Still, despite those pleas, there's not going to be just one Kentucky player on Ben Simmons here today. It's going to be a committee, a couple of guys. We've seen that early already. They want to mix it up, give him some different looks. Even the 5'9" Tyler Ulis, who, by the way, is celebrating a birthday today, will get his shot at the 6'10" Simmons.
Right now, it's Alex Poitras, and can't stop him. First basket by Simmons.
Well, Wake Forest put a lot of different people on Ben Simmons, some of it by necessity. And when they wound up putting Cody Miller-McIntyre on him, it was really effective. Nice play by Simmons.
Offensive foul on Lee, and that's his second.
Little double rip screen to get Ben Simmons down into the low post, isolated on Alex Poitras, who's an excellent individual defender. But he can take a bigger player down into the post. Now he's guarding Marcus Lee, and that's just an isolation play. I think they call it elbow clear, where they try to get either Poitras or Lee isolated at the elbow to go one-on-one, and Simmons stayed in front, picked up the charge. Like when he wants to guard, he can guard.
That last play offensively, Jay, that's his game. The last basket scored, and it's also LSU's game because most of their action comes in the paint. They've scored 8 of their 10 points right now in the paint.
Well, right now LSU is getting to the basket basically at will. And you can see that Kentucky is trying to slough off of players on the perimeter to make sure that when Simmons is down in the low post, they've got a crowd around him. In order to guard Simmons, you've got to crowd him. You can't play off of him because he's good enough where he's going to take that space up against you and use it against you and get to the rim and get fouled.
Victor, not a good free throw shooter, came in at 40%, but did get 1 of 2. 3 for Victor. The lead goes to 7.
Scott LaBissiere being guarded right now by Ben Simmons, and those were the #1 and #2 players in the country last year by every recruiting service. And they have had different fortunes to start out this season.
LaBissiere averaging about 9 points a game, turns on Simmons and comes up short, and the rebound will come off to Victor.
Well, LaBissiere is very talented, but he has really struggled with confidence of late. He's gone through a really tough stretch and just still trying to figure it out and where he fits in.
Quarterman on a fadeaway. Airmailed that one to the baseline.
Well, that's one where they might have been better off. Isaiah Briscoe was guarding Ben Simmons. Get the ball into the low post and let Simmons touch it, because you know he's going to give it back to you. If you're open, he'll give it back to you. Now LaBissiere and Simmons going at each other.
Let's see what Pat Adams is going to call here.
He caught a little bump. Simmons gave him a little shot, and he caught it. But they missed the one where LaBissiere hit him on the one before. Just gave him a little shot for the, it's just little nonsense fouls. And at least the referee called a foul instead of calling the ubiquitous double foul. But now they're probably going to go and look at the tape to make sure it wasn't anything in the flagrant variety.
I hit you worse than that before on camera.
You want to talk, you just give me a bigger shot than that. The referees need to take a look at that one.
One more look if you missed it.
See, there had been some contact when LaBissiere came down on the one before. Simmons was waiting about the free throw line for him, and LaBissiere ran right into him and knocked him back about 5 or 6 feet. And that was just a little payback for that, just to let him know, hey, I'm still here. I'm Ben Simmons, and I'm still here.
Joe DeRosa even has a little talk with LaBissiere as well and says, you guys might as well stop that or it's going to cost you fouls either way.
Yeah, the referees don't want to call anything.
Right.
They don't want to see this stuff happen, but those guys are going at each other as they should. And that's a little extracurricular stuff, but nothing crazy. Murray is the guy, Jamal Murray with the ball, that can go off on you. So they need to really pay attention to him. He had 33 against Ohio State.
He's their best three-point shooter. Under 10 on the shot clock. Here is Murray against Blakeney. On a turn and got it. Right on your cue.
And that's what he can do. He can get his own. He had 30 points in the Nike Hoop Summit. He had 22 against the United States playing for Canada in the Pan Am Games. And he was playing against men in that one. That kid can play.
Victor against LaBissiere and threw it to the backside where it's pulled down. Fans didn't like it. Thought there should have been a foul. Briscoe going the other way and walked with it.
Yeah, I thought there was a foul on that other end as well. I thought Victor got fouled. John Calipari just got a warning on the coach's box. But Jamal Murray, he is a good scorer, and he's been trying to drive it more to get into this dribble drive motion thing that Kentucky likes to run, but he's very comfortable with the ball in his hands. He can get his own. He's learning to play without the ball.
Josh Gray in the backcourt for LSU for the first time. Here's a cutter by Hornsby. Nice move and a great look by Simmons.
Just got caught looking at the ball. And that was a design play on the reversal to get that back door. You get caught looking, you're going to have a cutter. And anytime you cut, Simmons will find you.
Briscoe, three-pointer, too strong. Simmons will rebound, and now he'll lead the break ahead to Blakeney. And Blakeney had it pinned against the glass.
Well, Blakeney tried to avoid getting a shot blocked. You got to go right into the contact and get that foul.
Tyler Ulis pull-up jumper. Simmons another rebound.
You're going to be saying that a lot.
I'm sure I will. At least 13 times. And nice defense by Kentucky as Victor couldn't score underneath. Now Murray in the other end. It's up and down the court with neither team being able to score.
And what a terrific rebound by Victor. And that's the kind of thing you need to do to beat Kentucky. Here's Keith Hornsby. Now you can watch Tyler Ulis, who very rarely gets caught watching. Just gets caught watching the ball. Back cut. And then an easy layup because of the great pass by Ben Simmons. And Simmons can see over just about any defender that Kentucky puts on him. And Hornsby, he came back after an injury at Houston, had 32 points in that one, made 6 threes. And that's the type of thing he can do.
Here's Murray in the open floor.
LSU got lucky there. That could have been 2 turnovers in a row when Josh Gray threw it in.
Victor got mugged underneath, and he'll be going to the free throw line. Simmons getting a little breather, a little extra. We'll compare him to a couple guys I think you know a little bit about when we come back. 11:58 remaining first half.
His shorts are longer. Magic Johnson at Michigan State. LeBron James when he came out of St. Vincent St. Mary High School in Ohio. And he compares favorably to both of them. He's an extraordinary passer, an outstanding high-volume rebounder at both ends of the floor, averaging more rebounds than Magic did in college in his 2 years at Michigan State. Now, both of those players have become all-time greats. So nobody's saying that he's as good as they were at the peak of their careers. But at this stage in their careers, at age 19, Ben Simmons compares favorably to both. He's a special talent.
I remember doing LeBron the first time he played against Carmelo in their rookie season in the NBA. When LeBron came on the floor, I said, there's no way he's 18. Now, I can look at Simmons and say he's young in the face. LeBron had the full beard. I mean, he was a man and still is.
An absolute man. I think actually Simmons is built. He's a much more physically imposing athlete than Magic Johnson was at age 18, 19.
As we said, Magic was maybe 215, and he'd love to see 215 again.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't we all? But he's, Simmons is 6'10", 240 as a 19-year-old. And, LeBron was just as skilled as Kobe Bryant was as a high schooler or Kevin Garnett, but he was far more physically imposing. And so is Simmons. Now, Simmons doesn't shoot it. That's the one area where he's got to improve, but I think he can improve. And I think that's an area where he'll get much, much better.
We'll talk about that as we go. Right now, he's still on the bench. Under 10 on the shot clock as Briscoe on the drive draws a foul. As we check in with Shannon.
Well, Brad, you and Jay can talk all about who you think Ben Simmons reminds you of. Let's hear see what Magic Johnson thinks. He actually tweeted this out earlier this evening. LSU's Ben Simmons is the best all-around player I've seen since LeBron James came out of high school straight to the NBA. He went on to say whatever team selects Simmons will be getting a player that will have an immediate impact on their squad. Some very high praise from Magic Johnson.
So that means Magic's probably watching the game. So, Urban, I'd take the shot back about the 215. Well, just in case you run into him in the next month.
You know that Magic Johnson and Mitch Kupchak, everyone involved with the Laker organization, is looking at Ben Simmons saying, you know what? Purple and gold looks pretty good on him.
Exactly.
That could work out. Well, whoever gets him is going to get a heck of a player, but he's got a lot of work to do with LSU to get this team to the NCAA tournament. And getting this win against Kentucky at home would be a big step toward that.
Off to a good start, up by 6. A fairly stagnant Kentucky offense so far with only 8 points as we are approaching the midway point of the first half.
Well, they've turned it over a lot, and they've had the wrong guys, and Isaac Humphries, he can make that shot, but that's the wrong shot to be taking in that situation.
Their first 18 trips of the game, they're 3 out of 13 from the floor with 4 turnovers. That's led to LSU points, and in that case an air ball that gives it right back to the Tigers.
And to LSU's credit, they've defended well, and the Tigers have done a good job on the glass. They haven't given up a lot of second shots. And that's really a key for LSU, is how they rebound. You know, Simmons is the top rebounder in the country, 13 boards a game, but LSU is flat even with their opponents. That means his teammates have to get out and rebound too. They can't just watch him do it.
Right. Victor missed another jumper.
Ulis is so hard to stay in front of. Josh Gray did a nice job of moving his feet.
Here's Murray. Got too far in, no place to go with the ball. Possession arrow is going to go to LSU. So Murray dribbled into no man's land and paid the price. Coming up on Saturday, Maryland and Wisconsin get together at 1 o'clock. Maryland ranked 3rd in the country. And then, Jay, you're going to see North Carolina, a sensational effort last night, ranked 6th, as Jim Boeheim returns against Syracuse at 8 o'clock. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Well, that'll be Jim Boeheim's first game back on the sidelines for Syracuse after this 9-game suspension. And you think the Carrier Dome be loud when he walks onto the floor?
I'd say.
And North Carolina is playing as well as anybody in the country. I think right now, even though Kansas is #1, North Carolina is the best team.
What did Bryce Johnson have last night?
He had 39 points, 23 rebounds. Boy, Kentucky got caught. Aaron Epps knocked that shot down, and he can do that. He can make a perimeter shot. It got caught on the switch there. Unusual to see a big guy switch out like that.
Another Kentucky turnover. Gray taking it the other way. Follow won't go. Kentucky got away with one there.
Boy, Gray cannot avoid that contact. You got to go right into it. LSU's kind of playing with the ball, and then Tyler Ulis doesn't have a shoe down. He doesn't have a shoe on.
He's not as fast without both shoes.
He threw a shoe. Kentucky fans are used to that.
Yes.
A thoroughbred throws a shoe.
Murray missed. Rebound. Kentucky had it. And going to draw a foul inside as Mulder's going to go to the free throw line.
Somebody had to tell him where the shoe was. Somebody on press row had to point. Ulis didn't know where the shoe was. Now that's evidence that you didn't tie him right, because these shoes are well made.
They had
don't
to
just slip off.
They had to tell American Pharoah when he lost his shoe too. It's no different. It's bluegrass country.
John Calipari's over telling his players, tie your shoes.
Mulder with his first points. Simmons with his second foul. And he's going to come out.
He's trying to tell Johnny Jones, leave me in the game. I'll be fine. But you can't take the chance that he'll pick up a cheap one right after that.
Not this early. And Mulder, averaging less than a point a game, knocks down both free throws.
You know, one of the things, Brad, when you play against a great player, whether it's Ben Simmons, Chris Dunn, whoever it would be, one of the ways that you go at a great player is to make him defend. And Kentucky's trying to put him in ball screen situations to make him guard, where you put him in a situation where he's got to pick up some fouls. Because now you don't have to guard him. He's out of the game.
Exactly. That's the best defense against him, having sitting on the bench. Nice drive by Victor, drew a foul.
You see the difference in Craig Victor taking the ball to the basket there. I mean, he took it to the basket hard. Like Kentucky had to foul him. Like he wasn't trying to avoid getting his shot blocked. He took it in there and said, you want to try to block this? Go ahead. And that got him to the free throw line.
He just got back less than a month ago. Transferred from Arizona last year, so became eligible December 16th. And before and after, they've been a much better team with him the last 5 games, going 4-1.
Well, the free throw rate and defensive rebounding have improved as offensive efficiency. What LSU really needs, I mean, Keith Hornsby has got to be a reliable second scorer, which he has been, and he will continue to be. And then I think Antonio Blakeney, the freshman, has got to become that third scorer. He's a super talented player. And as long as you have Victor giving you consistent double-figure scoring, and as long as he rebounds, then LSU has a chance to be a good team.
8.5 to go in the half, and an 8-point LSU lead. I'd say it's been a while since Kentucky was held to this low of a point total at this point in a game. Poitras walked with it. So every time it looks like they're going to get a break and get it inside, they turn it over. That's 7.
Well, one thing LSU has done, they've kept Kentucky out of transition. There have not been a lot of runouts and a lot of open court situations where the Tigers cannot defend Kentucky, and they've made them look at 5 yellow shirts on every possession. Help side has been in good shape. This bad pass has a bad angle to get the ball in there. Victor was calling for it with his left hand, not his right. You got to throw it away from the defense, not just to the offense.
Here's Gray. 4 on the shot clock. Victor realizes it now, has to launch it over Poitras and hit the front of the rim barely, I think. No, I'm going to say shot clock violation. They didn't get there in time. So a timeout with 7:52 remaining in the first half. It's been LSU the entire way so far. They lead it 18-10 over Kentucky.
From the left wing, then goes into the post, isolated on Alex Poitras, a terrific defender himself. Then picks up that cheap foul, just giving a shot to Scalabiciere after those two got in a little skirmish, and as a result winds up sitting on the bench with just under 8 minutes to go in this first half. Johnny Jones not wanting to risk him picking up a 3rd foul just yet.
He has fouled out twice this year through 13 games.
And Porterman right now on Tyler Ulis. And Ulis is going to have to find some shots because he's got to score for this team.
Ulis had a good look. Couldn't get it to drop in the paint. It'll still be Kentucky balls. We're checking with Shannon.
Well, you know, earlier today at shoot-around, Coach Calipari was telling his guys, you can't just go through the motions. We have to be aggressive in this game because they're going to block shots, and we know what they can do. In that huddle moments ago, he basically told his guys, hey, listen, you guys aren't playing up to potential. You're better than this. Go out there and prove it.
I agree with him. They're better than this. And LSU defensively is doing a nice job. Hornsby, I think, is going to get caught with a touch foul on Murray.
They just had that arm bar on him. And anytime you put your elbow, your forearm on a driver, you're doing that for one reason. That's to impede the progress of the driver. And he was past him, and that's a foul every time. That's the equivalent of 2 hands on the ball handler.
That's Hornsby's first. 3-pointer for Michael Mulder. He's got 5.
And Mulder has not played much this year. He's a Canadian kid, a transfer from junior college, and known as a really good shooter, but he's had a tough time cracking the lineup. Well, he's cracked it in this one.
That's his season high by far. And now Epps knocks down his second 3 of the first half.
Well, Johnny Jones was talking about Aaron Epps, the fact that he was a 6'9" high jumper in high school, an excellent athlete, but he talked about his ability to hit a perimeter shot. He hasn't been doing much of that, but knocking 2 of them down in this game, he's proven that he can do it.
He had 2 all season and 2 tonight. Now Ulis scores. He's got 6. Ulis comes in averaging 13.4, coming off a 20-point, 10 assist, 6 steal game against Ole Miss, and those 10 assists and 6 steals were career highs for him.
Did a great job on Stephon Moody of Ole Miss.
Quarterman on a runner, got it to roll in.
Too easy to get into the paint for Tim Quarterman. Quarterman, the point guard, has had to give up some ball handling responsibilities to Simmons and is learning to play off the ball while Simmons has it.
Boy, just terrible turnovers. That's 8 against Kentucky. Tim Quarterman Jr. out of Savannah, Georgia with 4 points, including this one on the last trip.
Just a little side pick and roll with Epps. And Epps set a good screen, and one of the things about Quarterman is he plays with a nice pace. You know, he doesn't go too fast, but he's got really good change of pace, change of direction. And when he gets a defensive rebound, he brings it up. When Simmons gets one, he brings it up. And Quarterman's had to learn kind of what he's supposed to do when Simmons brings it up. It's something he wasn't used to until this year.
Here's Patterson on a drive, missed with the left hand, snatched down by Mulder, who's played really well off Kentucky's bench. Here's pull up 3, won't go by Willis. Ulis got it back, nice feed inside, the extra dish draws a foul.
But Brad, those loose balls that we just saw there, the difference between winning and losing. I mean, when you're just slapping at it and going past the play, that's when you're not going to get it. You got to go after that ball with 2 hands. If you have to get on the floor, you got to get on the floor. Possession is everything. Kentucky got possession. Now they're at the free throw line because of it.
Scalabiciere at the free throw line, rims one out. He's been shooting 74% from the line, has not scored yet tonight. And like Ben Simmons, has 2 fouls.
You know, for the quote-unquote normal freshman, Scalabicier's numbers are good. But the last 6 games or so, 7 games, whatever it's been since UCLA, he got bloodied in that UCLA game. His confidence has really taken a hit. And he's a much better player than he's performing, but it's kind of been baby steps trying to get his confidence back. And he took a couple steps forward against Ole Miss, played well.
Wow, nice look. Epps has been big offensively off the bench.
Boy, especially with Simmons out. I mean, for LSU to be able to score without Simmons in there is a really good sign.
Mulder feeling it. Heat check for him. That one rimmed out. Quarterman with a rebound.
Well, when your point guard can go in there and get a rebound, start the break by himself, that's a nice luxury. Quarterman's got to take Labissiere. He's got him on him. Johnny Jones is calling the play. Now they switch back.
Big Albert Robinson in the lineup for the first time tonight. 9 on the shot clock for Quarterman. He's going to take a long 3-ball. Way off the mark. Mulder, the rebound, just dishes it underhand to Briscoe. Euless drive, deflected a little bit by Hornsby. And at Quarterman from Hornsby, and he missed a 3 again.
Just not great shot selection 2 times in a row by Tim Quarterman. Boy, I thought Euless got hit by Albert Robertson down there.
Well, now he did. At least Briscoe did. Big Albert, all 7'1", 292 pounds of him. After we wrap up here in Baton Rouge, keep it locked in for Sports Center at night. Kevin Connors, Steve Levy will be along. Tips off our after game coverage right here on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Brad Nessler, Jay Billis, Shannon Spake, and our ESPN crew in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for our first Super Tuesday SEC game of the year. Matchup of a couple of teams off to 1-0 starts in conference play in Kentucky and LSU. Kentucky 11-2, ranked 9th in the nation. LSU unranked. They were earlier in the year, but only 8-5 right now. But they are coming off an impressive win over Vanderbilt on the road, 90-82 over the weekend.
Well, that was an impressive win over Vandy. Did a really good job of dealing with Vanderbilt's offense. Vanderbilt is so precise in the offense that they run. Brendan Surr is an outstanding assistant first year for Johnny Jones, said that's the toughest scout he's ever had. And that includes all the years that he spent in the NBA. You can see Ben Simmons, who's sitting out with those 2 fouls.
Lakeney's been over there a long time, too, on the bench, the other highly touted freshman.
Well, you can give him a rest as long as you've got this lead.
Yep. And we're under 4 minutes, so I'd leave him there, I guess.
There's no reason to take a risk. Some coaches have almost like a policy. You get 2 fouls in the first half, you sit the rest of the half.
There's a big shot by Derek Willis. That's his 12th 3-pointer of the year, and it comes at a good time for Kentucky.
He can really stretch the floor. LSU's got to get some movement. A lot of dribbling. The ball's got to continue to move.
That's a good drive by Gray. He just had a couple of those earlier, but didn't finish them. That one went in.
He's turned the corner and easily got all the way to the rim.
There's Poitras over Robinson and a chance for a 3-point play. So Alex Poitras gets in the score column and has a chance to make it a 3-point play when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Quicksilver from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back.
All right, Carl, thanks. Some storylines. Stephen Moody leading the league. Just under 24. Game Ben's next in line. Florida looking for their 600th SEC win tomorrow night. How about Frank? He's got South Carolina off to their best start since Bobby Cremins was playing point guard back in the day. Undefeated.
Tell you what, Brad, you want hard to watch? Stick around for that halftime show. What are those guys talking about hard to watch?
It's 3 minutes and 10 seconds away, so don't hold your breath yet. LSU maintains a 5-point lead.
You know, it's a point well taken on the offense. I think that LSU's offense has been a little more focused in this first half. They've been getting into the paint and getting to the rim. I mean, the majority of the points that LSU scored have been in the paint. And I don't think Kentucky has run the kind of offense they're capable of running. This is a good basketball team that's not showing it right now.
Hornsby just got a little opening and buried a 3 over Euless. 5 points for Hornsby. And that lit the crowd up. They were kind of waiting for either a slam dunk or a 3-point shot. Something to ignite a sellout crowd, and they got it out of this shot by Keith Hornsby.
Well, you go underneath that screen, which Tyler Ulis, one of the best defenders on the ball in the country. You go underneath the screen of a shooter that good, and he's just going to waltz into that jumper.
Here he is again, open for another. Got another. Back-to-back three-pointers by Hornsby. And now the crowd definitely into it. The lead expands to 11. Timeout, Kentucky. LSU, a double-digit lead. You told me earlier today you think that how LSU finishes this year might be more determined by that guy than Ben Simmons.
Yeah, and how he does in this game, how LSU is able to do in this game. Just coming off a little wide pin down and gave a little shove to Tyler Ulis to get some separation. And then Ulis got picked off on the screen. And Hornsby doesn't need a lot of space. He's got an unusual shooting motion, but that thing goes in, man. He's a tough kid.
He's got 8 points as we're at 2 minutes. Here's Murray on a fadeaway 3. Just couldn't find anybody to pass it to. Wasn't a great shot. Not that he's not a good 3-point shooter, but he just decided he had to hoist that one because he couldn't find anybody open.
Yeah, he had to settle there, and Albert Robinson did a nice job to show some help and force Murray to pick up the dribble. And Murray's a guy, he is such a talented player. But his scoring numbers, I mean, he can put up these spectacular numbers, then he can have periods where he's a little bit more quiet. And he's been a little quiet in this first half, but he can heat up in a hurry.
Ulis all over Hornsby now after those back-to-back threes as he picks up the intensity on defense. So does Briscoe, and he fouls Quarterman.
Just starting to reach a little bit. And that puts Quarterman on the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Ulis had done such a good job in this first half on Hornsby. I mean, he's a difficult cover. Ulis can guard just about anybody. Heck, you could put him on Simmons. I'm not sure anybody in college basketball puts better pressure on the ball for 94 feet than Tyler Ulis. And he's right there for best point guard in the country. I happen to think that, you know, if you had to put a list together, I would put Providence's Chris Dunn at #1. And then put Ulis at #2 along with Melo Trimble right there of Maryland. But it's a tough call because all of them are really good.
Trimble you'll see Saturday afternoon on ESPN. Early game. Here's Briscoe, got an open look. Kept alive by Matthews, and then they throw it away, and now it's ahead to Quarterman on the flush. Fans in the Bayou are loving it with a minute to play and a half. Nice drive and a foul.
What an answer by Isaiah Briscoe. Good defense here by Hornsby, just very careless on offense for Kentucky. And poor offense leads to the offense of LSU, and then Briscoe with the answer. He is not a shooter, he is a driver. And boy, that was a man's drive right there.
Doesn't convert the three-point play as Quarterman snatches down the rebound.
Boy, for LSU to have a 12-point lead in this first half with Simmons on the bench says a lot about what these sort of supporting players can do.
By the way, that last foul on the other end wasn't on Quarterman, who blocked the shot. It was on Hornsby down low, so Hornsby's got 2. And we got 8 on the shot clock. Lob underneath. Robertson doesn't get it, hits the deck hard. Victor goes back up, and he draws a foul.
We had Briscoe guarding Robinson down low, and size-wise, that's a mismatch. Briscoe was fighting him with every inch of his being, but they got the ball inside to him, and when you go up and try to block a shot like that, that's going to open up the offensive glass, which it did for Victor. But those are plays in games like this you have got to finish, because Victor is a very poor free throw shooter. This should have been an N1 for him.
50-50 balls for him tonight. He's missed, made, misses again. So now he's 3 out of 7 from the free throw line. Darcy Malone's going to check in here in the final possession, final 30 seconds. LSU's only 4 out of 9 from the line. Kentucky's not a heck of a lot better, as Briscoe is only 1 of 5 from the free throw line. He's made the most trips for Kentucky. Victor got the second, so that follows the pattern he's had from the stripe. And basically only about a second difference on the shot clock and the game clock right here.
Now what you want to do if you're LSU here is play good defense without fouling. You do not want to foul here. Probably going to get a run-out ball screen. Poitras looks like he's set to come out and set a screen.
6. Ulis a 3, and he got it. Beautiful shot by Tyler Ulis.
Big-time play by Tyler Ulis.
And that helped the cause. It was going to be a 13-point lead. It got cut down to 10. But still, had you told the Tigers, we'll give you a 10-point lead with Ben Simmons on the bench for a good portion of the half, I think LSU would take it. Let's check in with Shannon.
Well, Coach, you told us pregame you knew that Ben Simmons was just one piece of the puzzle. What do your guys need to focus on to limit some of the other weapons in the second?
You just watch that half. That's as bad as we can play, and we're down 5 baskets. I'm half happy, like we're still in the game. We got a lot of guys breaking down. We didn't play. Their big guy didn't play in that half either, so we just got to play better. We got to go get balls. We missed every free throw. I think we're like 2 for 11 from the line. I don't think you can win games going 2 for 11, so we got a ways to go.
You talked pregame about degree of difficulty for your offense. How much do you think that's been a factor?
No, not as much. We had some guys not running. We have some guys running people over. We're just not executing right now.
Thank you, Coach.
Maybe don't think they can play that badly, but it is the second lowest half of the game. They only scored 25.5 against Ohio State. Kentucky ranked 9th in the country, trailing by 10 at the break. Time for the Jeep halftime report. Carl, Seth, and Jay are standing by in the studio, fellas. The SEC on ESPN, part of Super Tuesday, presented by Hotels.com. Just about set to start the second half. 37-27. Low-scoring affair, the second lowest scoring half of the year for Kentucky. They shot only 32%. They hit some threes that helped the cause a little bit, but they were out-rebounded. The points in the paint was all LSU throughout the game. And top 2 players we wanted to talk about, they didn't play that much, Jay.
Well, Skal Labissière of Kentucky and Ben Simmons in the second slot. Labissière pulls him down, and they're having some words, and a little shove there. Boys will be boys, and Simmons wants to let him know, hey, I'm still here, Skal. And the referee saw the one on Simmons, called a foul on him. That was one of his 2, but Keith Hornsby did a really nice job toward the end of that first half. Wound up with 8 points, 2 of 3 from three-point territory. And even with Ben Simmons only playing 9 minutes in that first half, for LSU to have a double-digit lead says a lot about the way they defended, especially the way they hung with Kentucky on the glass.
I probably didn't think I was going to say this, but how's Kentucky get back in the game?
I don't think it's going to be that high of a mountain to climb if they play a little bit harder and be a little bit smarter. You know, Kentucky turned the ball over 9 times in that first half. That led to 12 points for this LSU team. But, you know, the problem is that Ben Simmons back in the game now. And Kentucky had an opportunity with him out to really do some damage. They didn't take advantage of it. And now they've just got to run some much more focused offense. And I think they've got to look more to Jamal Murray.
Here's Poitras, lost the handle in the paint. That's not the way they wanted to start the second half. Their 10th turnover, averaging just under 13 a game. And they're well on their way to surpassing that.
And Tim Quarterman had a really good first half. He had 7 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, not a single turnover, and ran the team pretty effectively.
Here's Hornsby, who had the hot late hand, as we showed you, missed that one. And Quarterman battling for the rebound, and he won the battle. Let's check in with Shannon.
Well, Johnny Jones told me earlier today at shoot-around that the keys to the game were to limit Tyler Ulis, to win the battle on the glass, and to hang on to the basketball. He feels like his team has done all of those things. They just need to continue that in the second half. He said the first 4 minutes of this second half are going to be critical. He wants his guys to go out with Ben Simmons back in the game and really dominate.
So it's Hornsby, Blakely, Simmons, who passes underneath to Quarterman. That's what he has done the best tonight of anybody.
And that's another inbounds play on out-of-bounds underneath where Kentucky has taken advantage of, and they give up a layup. I mean, the inbounds guy is always a dangerous guy. And Tim Quarterman winds up getting a pass from Ben Simmons, getting a layup out of it. That's just way too easy.
Here's Murray. Finally got a 3 to go. He's hit a 3 in every game this season. Nobody else can say that for Kentucky. And that's his first one of the night.
Here's the out of bounds underneath. Tim Quarterman taking the ball out. And you're worried about Hornsby coming off that screen, and then Simmons gets a little screen from Victor. And all of a sudden, Tim Quarterman wide open after a miscommunication with Jamal Murray underneath. And you can't give up. You know, your defense is set. You got all 5 guys set on out of bounds underneath. You can't give up a layup.
After that traveling call on Simmons, Kentucky, Quarterman blocks the shot. They had a chance to cut into the lead. They got it down to 9 right now. Quarterman on the drive. Good looking move with the left hand.
Boy, what a job in blocking that shot, because Marcus Lee was going one-on-one trying to go right at Ben Simmons and pick up that 3rd foul.
Well, Ulis had to put the brakes on, and when he did, he drew the foul on Victor.
Quarterman coming over from the backside to block that shot. Simmons did a nice job of just staying between Lee and the basket. And then Quarterman, that's that change of pace, change of direction. He's got that loping style, and he's quick, but he's not like Tyler Ulis jet quick, but he's got size and he can get by people.
Ulis hits the first free throw. He's far and away the best free throw shooter on Kentucky's team at 87%. And that one rimmed out. Simmons clears the glass.
Boy, and those are always your favorite rebounds. You know, you got inside position. I always loved it when I was playing it, because those are the only rebounds I got was when a guy missed a free throw.
You and Allery just waiting under the hoop, right?
Well, that is a mismatch, trying to guard Ben Simmons out top. You give him, that's why you give him that much space. You have to crowd him. And it sounds a little bit counterintuitive at times because he's not a great shooter. So you say, hey, give him some space, let him shoot it. But a guy's got that. You give him a little bit of space and he can go by you. And Marcus Lee is a really good defender, but that's a mismatch when he's on Simmons.
Lee's going to go out. And a technical on Johnny Jones. Didn't see that one coming. And neither did he. I'm not even sure what brought that on, to be honest with you. Tyler Ulis with the technicals. So that cost the Tigers a couple, and maybe more.
Well, it just goes back to point of interruption, so it'll be LSU's ball out of bounds underneath. It used to be a change of possession, but that rule changed.
Johnny looks very calm. I still don't know what brought that on. Here's Blakeney. Mulder, who's played very well off the bench with a rebound.
And Mulder had a chance to go at Ben Simmons there in transition, thought better of it. And anytime you can attack Simmons, you got to do it. So if they can go to Poitras, isolate him, let him drive it.
This is as close as Kentucky's been in a while. Got it down to 8. 10 on the shot clock. Nice feed inside. 2 block shots underneath by LSU.
And almost a steal by Ulis.
And Simmons underneath from Quarterman.
LSU has effectively turned its defense into offense throughout this game. And a team that has looked at times undisciplined on defense throughout the first part of the year is having its second in a row of really good defensive efforts after that win at Vandy.
Oh, and Poitras over the back on Victor trying to get the rebound.
Well, Poitras went over the back, then he pulled Victor down, and you wonder if the officials are going to go look at this. I don't think they will, but they could, and look and see if it was flagrant. Yep, they're going to go look at it. Because he pulled him down. That wasn't just over the back. You go over the back, you don't land on your back. He pulled him dead down around his neck. And I think the officials are going to try to take a look at this. And here it is right here. I don't know. I don't think that rises to the level of flagrant, but after the foul was not necessarily a basketball play there, but
I don't think he meant to do it.
I wouldn't call that flagrant.
I wouldn't either.
It's prudent of them to look at it, but I wouldn't call it flagrant.
I mean, it looked bad because Victor was already falling down, but I would say that Poitras just got tangled and his body weight made it look worse than it was.
The question is it excessive? And I don't think it is.
Pat Adams going to come over and tell us it isn't. Didn't even have to come all the way over to the scores table, or the broadcast table, I should say.
It's only excessive when you're the guy on your back.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're Victor, it kind of hurt, you know.
It's like surgery, you know. It's minor surgery unless it's on you.
So it'll be Simmons to inbound. 3 minutes into the second half, and a 10-point LSU lead, right where we were at halftime.
Three-quarter court pressure now. And Ulis has done a really nice job on Hornsby. Even though Hornsby's gotten open a couple times, it's really only been those couple toward the end of that first half. Other than that, he's been pretty quiet.
Here's Blakeney outside from the elbow. His first basket since early in the game.
If Blakeney can get his game going and become that third scorer, LSU's got a chance.
And now Poitras again, this time runs into Simmons and picks up another foul. And Ben Simmons trying to get the crowd into it. He got a tough rebound that time, and then he really got hip checked by Poitras under the basket.
You know, the guy's only played 13 minutes. He's got to have 7 or 8 rebounds. He's just always around the ball. And he's so smooth at times, it looks like he's not working his tail off, but his work rate is really high. Now you got Briscoe on him, and if I were Simmons, I'd take Briscoe down into the post.
He's thinking about it right here. Trying to, in fact.
And you see Poitras laying off right in his lap.
And Hornsby found by Ulis.
See, if Kentucky's going to keep Isaiah Briscoe on Simmons, as good a defender and as tough as Briscoe is, and he is a tough dude, you got to put Simmons down in the post and let him go to work.
Here's Hornsby. Quarterman keeps it alive, just throws it up and in.
How tough was that rebound? Boy, a tremendous block out by Briscoe on Simmons, but Quarterman wouldn't give up on the play.
Nice drive by Murray to quiet the crowd as the lead had expanded to the biggest of the night, back to 14, now cut to 12 with just under 16 to go.
Well, this has to be the best that LSU has rebounded as a team. See Briscoe fouling Simmons there.
And the foul is going to be on Briscoe. 47-35. LSU still a double-digit lead here in the second half.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
College football championship between the Tigers and the Crimson Tide. Got a battle of Tigers and Wildcats here tonight. It's been the Tigers since really the opening basket. Kentucky led 2-0. We had one tie at 2, and it's been LSU ever since.
Well, LSU going high-low off that inbounds. And Marcus Lee picks up his 4th foul going over the top of Craig Victor. And the inside guys for Kentucky have really struggled in this one. Alex Poitras, Marcus Lee, they've combined for 3 points.
And 7 fouls.
Yeah, 7 fouls. They've got more turnovers than they've got points and rebounds combined.
Nice feed into Victor.
And the same play again, got the same result. Quarterman comes out with another rebound.
Boy, Quarterman's got to some loose balls tonight, hasn't he?
He has been really active.
6 rebounds for Quarterman. And he might have tipped that one in. I'm not sure who's going to get credit for that. Looked like he got a hand on it.
Yeah, that was Quarterman tipping that in. The LSU has rebounded so well. And normally it's Ben Simmons as a one-man show rebounding for this team. He's got 100 more rebounds than the next Tiger. And he's got more offensive rebounds than any other teammate except Quarterman has total rebounds.
Big 3-pointer by Jamal Murray.
Well, he's the guy. Murray's the guy that's got to get hot because he's the guy that can go off. Both he and Ulis are the best scorers, and he's got to play like it on the road.
Had a couple of threes tonight, 36 for the year and 12 points, trying to keep Kentucky in this thing.
Well, that might have been the easiest opportunity the Quarterman's had all night, and he missed it. I mean, he just waltzed to the basket.
Here's Murray. He's going to try again. He got the shot to go. It's going to be an old-fashioned three as he got hit by Blakeney from behind.
What terrific pace he used coming off that ball screen set by Poitras. Doesn't go too fast. And then Victor's got to be up there a little bit higher. And Blakeney just had to foul him from the side. You got to try to put pressure on that without foul. But he stopped right in his path and really drew that foul. This young man's got a great feel for the game and a great feel and knack for scoring.
A knack that's made him Kentucky's leading scorer, and 8 straight points for him to cut it to 8.
Yeah, it's been an adjustment for Murray and Briscoe playing with Ulis, because those guys were point guards in high school. Backdoor again.
Oh, and Briscoe tried to block the shot, but he also blocked Hornsby as well. He'll go to the free throw line.
Well, that's the second time that Kentucky's been caught on a backdoor play. I mean, anytime you got somebody dribbling at you when you're guarding on the wing, you got to stay between your man and the bucket. Make him come off for a handoff or something.
And Keith was actually going for a slam dunk on that one as well, I think. So prevented the basket, and he missed the free throw.
He's an athletic kid, strong. He's not a kid. I mean, he's a fifth-year senior.
Got the second. 9 points for Hornsby. The lead back to 9.
Nice job by Victor to guard for 2 dribbles on when Murray was coming off that ball screen from Poitras.
They want it in Murray's hands right now if he can get an open look, that's for sure. He's been the hot hand, although he lost it. And Ulis, one extra dribble over there. Wow. A three-pointer by Willis.
What execution at the end of the clock, basically on a broken play. And Ulis finding Willis, and boy, was he ready to shoot.
Simmons gets tangled up with Poitras, and that's going to be his 4th foul. So Lee and Poitras, 2 of the Kentucky starters, each with 4.
LSU looked like they were going to come up with that loose ball. But a terrific job. A little shot fake, and then Willis just steps back and knocks down that shot. And then the fake handoff. And that's one where Poitras just has to try to angle him to the baseline.
This game right now, Jay, is as close as it's been since it was 10-4. In this case, 50-44. And Marcus Lee comes right back off the bench without the face mask on, playing with 4 fouls. Poitras goes out, and Simmons at the free throw line. His first attempt from the stripe.
He lived at the free throw line the last 2 games. He averages 8 free throw attempts a game. Last 2 games, he shot 35 free throws. Got to the line 19 times at Vanderbilt.
Rimmed out the second one. So 5 points for Simmons.
Simmons has been much more aggressive offensively in his last few games. He's averaging 26 a game over his last 4. Foul trouble's kind of slowed him down in this one.
Murray got the roll off the window. So he's hit the last 10 points for Kentucky.
Well, they're continuing to go to him as they should, because he's the guy that can go crazy on you.
Gray, and not a good move. Nice penetration, but trying to finish that shot. Well, maybe he did draw the foul on Lee, and Lee's gone.
All of a sudden, Kentucky much smaller with Marcus Lee going out of the game, and he has not played a whole lot of minutes here. Yeah, you could see him 2 arms in the back, just shoving Craig Victor right under the bucket. Yeah, you can't fail to call that one. The referee saw it.
So Marcus Lee is gone with 13:04 remaining. Fouls out with no points and only 2 rebounds.
And Kentucky, 13 minutes to go. They've already got 9 team fouls in the second half. And that's an awful lot of free throws that LSU, if they are strong with the ball the remainder of regulation, they can go to the line over and over and over again. And you'd have to think that Kentucky's going to have to be aggressive on the defensive end. That one might put them in a position to foul even more.
And the guy you'd like to have there is either Hornsby or Simmons.
Well, Victor's been there a lot. He's not the guy. He doesn't make very many of them.
40% coming in is a little bit better than that tonight.
But boy, he has been active on the glass. He's defended. He's had a good game. This is just an area where if he improves, because he can get to the free throw line.
Those two look perfect.
Sure did. Well, his stroke isn't that bad.
13 to play. LSU by 7.
A 2-3 zone.
Murray, that one a little off balance over Gray. Briscoe's trying to keep it alive, though, and does. Fresh possession for the Wildcats.
I'm not sure what they're in. They're back in the man now. A couple guys didn't know it.
Ulis has an opening. Willis kept it alive and got fouled underneath by Gray. Reminder for you coming up. Next NBA doubleheader is tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Knicks take on the Heat. And then at 9:30, the Grizzlies are in Oklahoma City for a battle with the Thunder. NBA Wednesday, presented by State Farm on ESPN. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
A nice cut by Isaiah Briscoe. And after giving up a couple of layups to LSU on out-of-bounds under, Kentucky executes, gets their own.
Quarterman draws a double team, almost walked with it.
Murray guarding Simmons. He's going into the post now.
Meanwhile, Victor's wide open. Knew he missed that shot. Tried to rush in to get the offensive rebound, but Briscoe has it instead.
Well, Labissiere was way off of Briscoe, guarding nobody but Simmons, just sitting in his lap.
11:54 remaining. LSU still with the lead, but Kentucky has sliced into it. Wildcats trailing on the road by 5. All right, Carl, here 53-48. LSU holding on. But Kentucky's been on a 13-4 push since it was a 14-point game. So they're very much in it now.
Quarterman guarding Murray. He's not letting him get the ball back.
6 on the shot clock. Briscoe is going to take it over Hornsby. The follow by Willis. Missed in close. Simmons the rebound. His 7th of the game. Quarterman, long three, got it.
Oh, what a game Tim Quarterman is having. He has done everything. He has scored. That's 18 for him now. He has rebounded, assisted. He hasn't turned the ball over, and he has defended very effectively.
7 over his average. And that last three-pointer gives him more breathing room. Up by 8 again.
Simmons brought the ball down. Quarterman operating effectively as a 2-guard, and nobody picked him up. Just a mistake in coverage in transition by Kentucky. And what a game this young man has had.
Isaiah Briscoe at the free throw line, where he has struggled. 1 for 5 in the first half.
Well, Quarterman coming into this game was 4 of his last 16 from the field, so had not exactly been on a hot streak. Boy, he came into this one focused, and he has done everything. It hasn't just been scoring. He's defended well. He's rebounded. And he's been a very, very good leader in this ball game.
Needed some New Year's home cooking. There's the big guy underneath. For this year, that's his first field goal.
And nobody boxes out. LSU's given up some easy things right now. And anytime Ben Simmons has gone down in the post, they basically have 2 guys on him. So now he's going out on the perimeter.
And drew the foul from Willis.
See, I don't think there's anybody, Brad, on the floor right now for Kentucky that can guard him one-on-one. Now take a look when Simmons goes down into the post. So the ball gets to the corner. So Simmons basically double teamed. He's got Murray on him. So here's the logical place to throw it. You throw it to Victor. He's got a wide open shot. Scout Labissiere just sitting in the lap of Simmons, double teaming him. Victor's got to either make that shot, or whoever's in that position, or drive it right to the rim. But if Simmons is going to get double teamed, then just take the ball outside and take these guys one-on-one, because he's capable of doing that. And every time there's a foul, he's shooting free throws.
7-7 now. Points and rebounds, and the lead back to 8. Almost the midway point of the second half.
With 10 minutes to go, Ben Simmons could still wind up with 12 or 14 free throw attempts.
Here's Murray, the guy that got hot when Kentucky needed some points. And just scored again.
He can manufacture his own. He doesn't need to be coming off a screen. He can go get. He's one of the few players that can go get his own.
He's got 19 tonight so far. Quarterman, nice drive, didn't finish. Briscoe, tough rebound and some traffic. Here's Ulis for 3. And it's going to be LSU ball.
A nice job by the BCA to run the floor.
And
they already warned him. This coach's box thing is so dumb. I don't even know why they bother with it. None of them are ever in it. So what difference does it make? Mike Jarvis, the former coach at St. John's, used to have a great line about the coaching box. He'd say, "I am not a dog. You cannot tell me to stay in this little box." But if they wanted to, you know, it's so silly to even have that thing. It doesn't work.
Past the midway point of the half now. LSU turns it over. They had not turned it over too many times tonight. See Coach Calipari in the box in that instance. Not really in the box in that instance.
But the funny part was they warned him earlier. So now, you know, what did they say this time? We really mean it? This is just kind of a dumb exercise to even bother.
Ulis, nice feed to Poitras, who ran through some traffic. Didn't even know he was going to get through the traffic, I don't think.
It was a pretty little pocket pass by Ulis.
It's down to 4.
Now this is where a guy like Simmons has to take over because he's capable of taking over.
8-4 the last time we were this close. So 50 points later by each team, we're right back to where we were earlier in the game.
A lot of wasted time on the clock.
Quarterman pull up 3. Got it. Wow, what a game for Quarterman. 21 for Tim Quarterman. And it seems like every time LSU finds himself letting Kentucky back in the game, Quarterman gets him out of trouble. This time it's Victor on the steal, the drive, the lay-in, and 1.
If you are going to foul, you have to foul. And Murray gets it stripped and then gives a weak foul instead of a strong one. And then coming off that screen, Poitras has to be up there. I mean, you've got a guy who's having a really good game in Tim Quarterman coming off that ball screen, and you're not attached. You're just allowing him to step into an open 3. And you having the kind of night that Tim Quarterman's having. You can't just hope the guy's going to miss.
3-point play is good by Victor. His first double-double as an LSU Tiger. 11 points and 10 boards. And the lead is back to 10, in fact, at 64-54.
Went from 4 to 10 in a hurry, didn't it?
Sure did. Ulis got a couple back.
Quarterman always turned it over. He's trying to pick up his dribble to pass it and had to wind up dribbling it again.
Nice hook pass to Victor from Quarterman. He's doing it all.
They are just getting to the rim anytime they feel like it. And Craig Victor may not be a great free throw shooter, but takes a lot of pressure off when you're shooting and-ones. And this will be his second and-one attempt in a row. And he's accepted the physical challenge of this game as well, and where in past games it's been a little more difficult. Victor's really played well in this game.
Everybody came to see number 25. It's number 55 that's putting on a show right now for LSU.
Well, and that's what LSU needs. I mean, Simmons is going to draw a ton of attention. He's going out now because of the media timeout to be able to get a little bit of an extra rest. But Simmons draws so much attention that Keith Hornsby, Tim Quarterman, Antonio Blakeney, those guys are going to have openings. And I really think when Hornsby and Blakeney get their games going, we could see a totally different LSU team in conference than we saw in the non-conference. Because right now, LSU's not really, if it ended today, they wouldn't get into the NCAA tournament. But you beat Vanderbilt at Vandy, you get a win at home against Kentucky, and then you go on the road and maybe steal one at Florida, then the narrative changes.
No doubt. Briscoe missed a jumper. Malone got the rebound, and as the next whistle will bring the TV timeout. LSU maintaining a double-digit advantage.
Doesn't it feel like the wrong guys are shooting too often for Kentucky?
Yeah.
Like Isaiah Briscoe's taking jumpers instead of getting to the rim. Alex Poitras in the first half taking a jumper. Caught his own miss.
Didn't touch the rim, so the shot clock continues to move for Blakeney. Let's fly. And now it's Poitras going for the rebound.
Looked like they were
calling over the back, right?
Looked like they were calling it on Patterson first, but it was on Poitras.
And that's going to do it for Poitras, too.
Patterson might have had his arm on. Yeah, it was over the top. I thought Poitras was arguing that somebody was grabbing his arm, but what a tough night for the Kentucky big guys.
The two big guys for Kentucky have both fouled out. But how about number 55 for LSU tonight? Having one of those kind of games, working on a triple-double. His team working on a win. They're up by 10.
And Tim Quarterman has been the man on fire in this one. He has scored, he has rebounded, he has assisted. Now coming into this game, Brad, I think we thought that Ben Simmons would be the guy that we would talk about having a triple-double. But it's been Tim Quarterman. And Quarterman's got 21 points, 9 rebounds, 6 of them offensive. 7 assists, not a single turnover. And he added 1 block in there for good measure.
Yep. Coming out of the timeout, the free throws. 1 out of 2 for LSU for Patterson. Blakeney missed a 3, kept alive by Simmons.
And LSU just doing everything tougher than Kentucky. Mulder's about to pick up a foul on Victor. He keeps shoving him. He's not a threat right now, but he's had a great game.
At the 7-minute mark. Patterson missed on a drive. Victor tried. Third time is Blakeney.
We got him over the top. I don't know about that one, but what a spectacular play by Blakeney. I didn't see the over the back part. Pat Adams did. So Victor gets the first offensive rebound. Oh, come on. That's a terrible call. What a great offensive rebound that was.
Yeah. Ulis on the dribble with 10 to shoot. Gets it back and lets it fly. Big 3. We check in with Shannon.
Well, guys, 2 of the things that Coach Calipari said at that timeout, one of them you just saw. He wants Tyler Ulis to be a little more aggressive shooting that 3, particularly when he comes off some of those ball screens. Second, he believes that Ben Simmons will have the ball in his hands a little bit more down the stretch. He said when they pick and roll, we have to communicate.
He's going to have his hands on the ball right now because he's going back to the free throw line.
Yeah, Simmons went down into the post, and Mitchell just wrapped him up.
Ben's 3 out of 4 from the line. Make it 4 or 5. We'll take a look at tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch. Hashtag Wooden Watch to join the conversation. Only 8 points tonight, but again, working on double digits and rebounds. And again, he didn't play a good portion of the first half with foul trouble.
He sat out the last 9.5 minutes of the first half once he picked up that second foul. And Johnny Jones had the luxury of being able to sit him for the half because LSU was leading.
Led by 10 at halftime. And Simmons strips the ball.
Well, that's where LaBissiere has to improve. I mean, he had to go up right away, but he got pushed off of his spot and allowed the defense to recover, and then Simmons just easily knocked that ball away. You know, people talk about LaBissiere being skinny. Like, hey, he's thin, but that doesn't mean he can't be strong. Anthony Davis was thin, too.
Anthony Davis was at the game tonight. I'm not sure if he's still here. There's the big Pelican.
One of the great players, not only when he was at Kentucky. I mean, they don't make him like Anthony Davis very often. One of the great players in the NBA. Top 5 in my judgment.
Timeout, Kentucky.
Yeah, these are just college guys, because I'm not going to get into Fran Fraschillas territory with the international guys. But, you know, Ben Simmons, I think, is the best overall prospect, although Brandon Ingram of Duke is having a spectacular year. And at 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan, incredibly skilled. And Chris Dunn, I believe, the best point guard. Henry Ellenson from Marquette, who had a great game tonight against Providence. Now, number 7, Buddy Hield of Oklahoma. He's the one that had 46 against Kansas last night. And then Skal Labissière, who, even though he's not ready right now, I still think he'd be a first-round draft pick if he came out. But Simmons, slowed down by that foul trouble and sitting out. It's so hard to get a rhythm after you sit out half of the first half. But he has rebounded, he's passed, he's been very effective defensively, and he doesn't force anything on the offensive end. I mean, you can say he's only got 8 points, but he hadn't taken that many shots. And you know, I'm not sure that I'd bring that many ball screens to him right now toward the end of the regulation and just let him go one-on-one, because I'm not sure anybody on the floor can stay in front of him. You're going to have to get body contact.
Ulis got some contact from Victor.
Well, that's a tough one there. Victor hedged out on that screen.
Yeah, Jay, I talked to Ben Simmons earlier today. I asked him about goals for the rest of the season with this team. He told me he intends and wants to stay right at the top of that list that you just showed the country. He wants to be the #1 player in college basketball. He wants to be unstoppable. Coming into the season, he said, hey, I want to be a freshman that can lead, and he certainly has been that.
Well, he's the #1 pick. Now, whether he is able to lead this team to the NCAA tournament, you know, that's still an open question. They've got to figure out a way to win this one. There's still 5 minutes to go in regulation in this game. That's a long time. And you know, with Jamal Murray and Tyler Ulis on the floor, you know, I know nobody's doing that, but I wouldn't start handing the game to anybody just yet. There's plenty of time in this one.
Saw his mom and dad in the crowd. Dad, who played in Australia, that's where Ben was born.
And coached him.
Exactly. And in fact, on the LSU side of things, David Patrick, the assistant head coach for Johnny Jones, is Ben's godfather, because those guys played together.
His 2-3 zone right now with Keith Hornsby out of the game. Not quite as good of a shooting lineup. So Quarterman's one of the guys you really have to watch with Blakeney.
He thought about taking one over Murray, runs into some traffic, and they're not going to get a shot away here. Actually, they did, and it went in. I thought it was late. Let's hold on. Patterson, a desperation 3 that went in. I thought there was not going to be enough time, but I might be wrong. They're going to take a look at the monitor.
Yeah, they're going to check it, and Patterson got that thing off quickly. That was not in his hands very long. He probably caught it with just one. No, it was still in his hands, looked like to me. Boy, he did not have it very long. He just got it late.
To be that far away and pull the trigger that quickly.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to count. That looked like it was still in his hands. And the officials, even though we know it already, the officials look at, even though they get a feed from television, they are looking at something called DV Sports. So they can ask for the replay that they want to see. And it usually goes much quicker than this. I'm a little surprised it's taking this long, because we were able to see it really quickly.
Joe DeRosa and Doug Schaus are the guys looking at it right now.
They're looking at this like it's a Zapruder film. It was in his hands. I mean, it's not close. He didn't even get his feet off the floor.
No.
I mean, you know, I can understand not seeing it in live action, but this has taken way too long. I mean, they want to get it right, and there's no question they should get it right.
No
but
basket.
that took too long.
So actually, what looked like a three-pointer ends up being a turnover. And LSU, Kentucky rather, gets the ball back with 4:28 remaining in the second half.
And both teams have shown some zone, and LSU showed a possession of it.
Ulis in trouble on a double team. Patterson comes up with a steal.
Well, how about the defense there by Ben Simmons? Corralling Ulis off that ball screen and with both hands knocking that ball away from one of the great point guards in college basketball. That's a guy 6'10". Moving his feet to stay in front and just the clean strip. 6'10" on 6 feet. And you just don't see that every day. I think Tyler Ulis is glad he doesn't see that every day.
Exactly. So Patterson, who thought he had a big three the last trip down, rips the free throw. He's had 4 points here in the stretch of about 5 minutes of the second half. Makes it a double-digit advantage again.
You know, when you've got a lead in a ball game like this, the emphasis is on being strong with the ball and then stepping to the line and knocking your free throws down.
Oh, nice drive by Murray.
Well, Murray's got a ton of game, doesn't he? He can shoot it. He can drive it.
He's got 21.
Got to get it across. Two-three zone right now for Kentucky. And at some point, you want to put Hornsby in the game because he's a guy that can really affect the zone.
Don't want to have another shot clock violation. Patterson drives and scores off the window. They're not taking that one away from him.
And what a terrific shot fake. Two defenders ran right past him and gave him an open lane to the basket.
Murray can't hit from the outside, and it's Victor with a rebound.
This is the best I've seen Craig Victor play. And he's really mixed it up inside. He's gone to the glass. He was really strong.
"13 points and 12 boards for Victor. His first double-double, as I mentioned earlier, as an LSU Tiger, and they're going to take a timeout with 2:59 to play. We'll take a break with them. 10-point lead right now. Patterson's been a spark, both defensively and in this case, the kiss off the window. LSU by 10. 18 times they beat Kentucky. Right now he's hoping that his guy Johnny Jones can hang on to the lead they have right now.
Well, Johnny played for Dale Brown on that 1981 Final Four team, and right now Kentucky a 22 consecutive win streak in the SEC.
Big time danger right now.
Is in jeopardy. And you got to give a lot of credit to the way LSU has played, especially on the glass.
They're plus 10 right now. And speaking of glass,
I mean, that's a left-handed player doing that. 6'10", off the dribble, going against two defenders once he got into the paint, and switching the ball from his left to his right hand.
open look on the baseline. Boy, Patterson has really been good here the last 4 or 5 minutes on both ends of the floor. Jalen Patterson, who hadn't played in the first half.
Well, now LSU can use clock, because if they get fouled, they go to the free throw line. Then late clock, execute.
10 on the shot clock. Simmons in low. In, up, and around, and in again. Over a double team.
Well, this has just been a clinic of late for LSU. They're getting anything they want.
And what they want is a win over Kentucky, and they're within 2 minutes of getting it. Ulis, long three. It was partially blocked by Simmons. And now Quarterman. Smiles are beginning. The crowd is standing. Sellout at the Maravich Center, enjoying the moment.
Yeah, this LSU team reminds me a little bit of Billy Crystal in Princess Bride. A few days ago. They were all dead, but they were just mostly dead. Now they're very much alive.
They sure are, and so's the crowd. And the big guy came alive in the last couple of minutes, Ben Simmons.
Well, you see what Ben Simmons is all about. He does it on the defensive end. Offensively, crosses over twice, switches hands against a 7-footer and kisses it off the glass. Goes down into the post. Goes right up again with that right hand and puts it in, and then a missed shot. Now he's left-handed. He did all those things right-handed. Another Princess Bride thing. Nego Montoya. I am not left-handed.
It doesn't matter which hands he's used. He's pretty good, and he's a rebound away from a double-double. Even though he had a slow half, playing only half of the first half.
Brad, a week ago, so many of us proclaimed, look, this is not an NCAA. They're not going to make the tournament.
Right.
Well, the way they were playing, maybe they wouldn't have. I mean, right now, you go back-to-back wins at Vanderbilt and at home against Kentucky. And, boy, the outlook on the tournament looks a lot different now, doesn't it?
Yep. 2-0 and 9-5 is a lot better than what it was before. Reminder for you against Saturday, 1 o'clock. Mello Trimble leading the third-ranked Terps against the Badgers. Then at 8. Jay will be there. Jim Boeheim's back to coach the Orange. Syracuse takes on North Carolina. Both games are streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
And Syracuse is going to have its hands full with not only Marcus Page, who just had 30 points against Florida State, but Bryce Johnson, 39 points, 23 rebounds against Florida State in Tallahassee.
Ben Simmons is coming out. The crowd is standing up.
Well, Simmons was very good in the second half. I'll tell you what, LSU doesn't win this game just with Ben Simmons. Tim Quarterman was spectacular. Craig Victor did a terrific job on the glass. Aaron Epps comes into the game, knocks down a couple of threes. This was a total team effort for LSU. And they did the tough things in this game. Rebounded. Now right now Pat Adams telling Johnny Jones, he's telling his guys to shut up. There's too much talking going on, and Jones is going to get, I think it's Antonio Blakeney going to get him out of the game.
Well, Antonio's a freshman. He will learn, and he's going to get a little coaching right there as he reaches the bench.
They just don't need it. Boy, what an effort from LSU on the glass to out-rebound this team by double digits.
Tyler Ulis, great reverse layup on the baseline. So we're down to a minute to play.
And now the focus after winning these two games for LSU has to turn to winning another road game at Florida. And Michael White's got a good team.
Bridgewater gets in the act. Ulis again off balance. He and Murray have been the offense tonight for Kentucky, but there's just not enough of those guys to go around.
Yeah, Ulis just won't quit. What a terrific player.
Ulis, career high, in fact. 23 tonight.
Yeah, LSU has made a statement, but Kentucky has got some work to do.
Yes, they do.
This team can be very good, but right now they've gone on the road a couple times. They lost at UCLA and got punched in the mouth, never recovered. Now they could say, well, Ulis's arm was hurt, and Marcus Lee went out early in the game and didn't come back. Then they go on the road up to New York and in the Barclays Center and get punched and lose to Ohio State. Now on the road at LSU and get punched and lose badly to LSU. I mean, Kentucky's got some growing up to do as well.
Upcoming schedule for Kentucky at Alabama. Next Tuesday night, Mississippi State at Rupp on Super Tuesday at 7. Auburn, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt to follow.
You know, Kentucky in this game gave up 44 points in the paint. Now, that's a season high. LSU got to the rim when they felt like it, and that's not Kentucky's defense.
Well, a year ago, LSU came down to the last shot trying to beat Kentucky and couldn't do it. Tonight, from the first shot on, they led throughout, and they win it going away. 85-67. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back here with Shannon and Ben Simmons. But for right now, that's going to wrap it up from center. For Jay Billis and Shannon Spake, Brad Nessler saying so long from Baton Rouge. Kevin Connors and Steve Levy in Sports Center are next. And we welcome you.